Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today as we start our very exciting MET Masterclass series, where we will be looking closely at all of the different tasks, specifically speaking and writing, and we will also have a session on listening and reading to help you feel prepared and get ready to take your MET, your Michigan English test. I see a lot of you have already shared that you're joining from the Philippines. I know that you're all very busy people. So thank you for taking the time today to come in and see me and learn more about MET Speaking Task One. My name is Emily Clifford. Some of you might have seen me in sessions before. I'm based here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I am the Academic Services Manager here at Michigan Language Assessment. So I spend a lot of time working on preparation materials and helping people like you um, prepare for your Michigan English test. And I'm joined by one of our very good friends from 9.09er. Philippe Toner is here, and I need to. There he is. Hi, Philip. Thank you so much for joining today and sharing your expertise with everybody about MET speaking.
Thank you very much, and apologies for the slight delay. It's always a pleasure to be here working with Emily and the rest of MET to help you guys prepare better for your exam.
No problem at all. I know that you're busy. You probably just finished a lesson.
That's
So
right.
we're very lucky to have Philip here, who is an MET expert, a teacher. So he's going to share some of his knowledge with us. And today we're going to focus on speaking task one. So we're starting at the beginning, and going to dive into speaking task one. So let's get started. There we go. And this is what our session's going to look like today. We'll give you a very quick overview of MET speaking, what's included in speaking as a whole, how it's delivered. We'll talk quickly about the speaking rating scale and then what you've all come here for. We'll talk about MET speaking task one. Sorry, on the slide there, it should say MET speaking task one, not just task one. We will go through some model answers and workshop them, get some feedback from you, and share our opinions on what makes a really good MET speaking task one answer. We'll go through some preparation tips for you all the way through, and hopefully that will give you an extra boost in your confidence. And then we will have time for questions at the end. But as Philip just said, please ask us. You can message us through the chat or the Q&A feature, and we'll do our best to answer your questions as we go. So, Philip, are we ready?
We are very much so, Emily.
All right, let's move on. So, MET, as many of you probably already know, stands for the Michigan English Test, which is a high stakes English test where you can prove your level of English from A2 to C1 on the CEFR, or the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. If you aren't sure about what MET is, I saw in the registration questions not everyone has been preparing for MET already. Some of you have questions about the exam itself. So please feel free to check that QR code. It will take you straight to our website, which is michiganassessment.org, where you can find out more about the exam itself. We did have some questions about where you can take MET. So, Philip, would you do the honors?
Of course, Niner Review Center is very proud to have partnered with MET to have brought the exam to the Philippines just last year, and we recently celebrated our anniversary, our first anniversary a few months ago. MET is available in the Philippines in all major island groups in Manila, in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. For the full list, please do check out the QR code. at the bottom right of your screen. It would show you not only all the test locations in the Philippines, but also all over the world, in case you're joining us from other parts of the planet. But in the country, in the Philippines, Niner offers offers the test. Sundays and Mondays, there's a morning session and an afternoon session. And we also partner with you to help you prepare better for the test so that you can do your best, which is what Emily and I will be doing tonight. So looking forward to working with you in the next few.
Great, thank you. We also had a couple of questions about who accepts MET. So if you're curious about where you can use your results, which organizations accept MET as official proof of your English, please check that QR code that you can see now. I'm sorry, we've got a lot of QR codes for you today. And Wonderful Riley is also sharing links in the chat, so you can check the chat if Riley has posted these links as well. So you can go and check out those websites. Thank you, Riley, for your help as always. So let's talk about what MET actually is. It's a four-skill test. It tests your writing, your listening, your reading, and your speaking in English. Speaking is the final section of MET. It is computer delivered, which means you take it fully on a computer. The questions and uh, audio will show on the screen, and you will hear the questions read aloud. And then you record your responses with your device microphone. There are five tasks in MET speaking, and in total, it lasts for around 10 minutes. Um, for the first three tasks, you speak for 60 seconds each. For the final two tasks, you speak for 90 seconds because they're a bit more complex. So this is what we're focusing on today. And we have the breakdown of all the different tasks that are asked on MET speaking. Philip, would you give us that overview?
Certainly. These five tasks are divided into two parts, as you can see on your screen. Part one is tasks 1 to 3, which are thematically linked, which are talking about more or less the same topic. They're sort of related to each other. On the other hand, part two, the one that Emily explained, you'll be spending 90 seconds each doing, is a little bit more abstract in general and would require a higher level of skill for you to do well in. So one, describe an image just in as much detail as you can. And the others we would be discussing in the succeeding weeks. We felt that it would be more productive for us to be able to dive deeper into each of these tasks during the time that we have. So the other parts, I invite you to attend succeeding weeks so that we can tackle them greater. Tonight we focus on task one. And here, if you are even more interested, you can take a screenshot of the more detailed descriptions of what happens in the different parts of the test. For tonight, I'd like to emphasize that in task one, we would be seeing a picture, and the task that we're supposed to do is to describe them. So we're not expected to give opinions about it. We're not expected to extrapolate from it that much. We're not expected to form arguments or use logic or so much as just talking about what we see in front. And in the example given, we see an office. And if you can see it, if you need to zoom it a little bit, then it says describe the office. So thank you. How helpful. um, and it says there, so you're going to be given the prompt that would describe the situation of the image. Are you looking at a bakery? Are you looking at a fire station? Are you looking at parking lot? And you will have 1 minute to talk about the image. And it's very quick, it's very spontaneous. You are expected to come up with a lot of language for this one. And later, we'll be talking about 3 sample answers, comparing them and contrasting them so that you have a better idea of which specific areas you can improve on when it's your turn to take the test. Now, in this example, oh, aha,
Sorry, I skipped ahead, Philip. I'm so
no
sorry.
worries, no worries. And in addition to that, of course, how will our examiners give us our grade? You can see that there are three main criteria that they take into consideration: task completion, language resources, and intelligibility and delivery. Tonight, we would be focusing on the first two. Task completion is about, did you answer the question? Were the details that you offered relevant to the task, or did you go off topic? How much substance were you able to contribute? On the other hand, language resources is all about the vocabulary that you're able to demonstrate, whether they're common or not, did you repeat words, and the grammar that you use, how simple or complex the structures that you use as well. Tonight, we won't be focusing on intelligibility and delivery because Emily and I would be reading um, sample, model responses. So we are not going to pretend to be test takers because that may not be authentic on our part, but definitely we can get a lot of work done in terms of analyzing what good task completion is like and what good use of language resources is like as well. If you're interested, please take a screenshot and the more detailed descriptions are. And Kosi Sochupu Okafor, oh sorry, has a question. We'll attend to that at the end if we have time. Now, before we talk about the model responses, Emily and I would like to invite you to give it a go, just to try. So you see on in front of you a sample task. The prompt says, describe the street. Now, in the actual exam, this prompt will be read, such as well as the instructions at the end. You have 60 seconds to talk. You should say as much as you can. Begin speaking. Now, please try. You see to do it on your own. Just like in the exam, you will see a timer in front of you so that you can manage your time better. Once you're ready, oh sorry, we will tell you when time. 1 minute will begin. Okay. Describe the street. You have 60 seconds to talk. You should say as much as you can. Begin speaking now.
So, because
Oh,
you won't have your microphone on right now, you can hopefully feel confident. Just have a go. Just I'll start the timer in a moment, and just have a go at answering this yourself. What would you say if this were your MET speaking task one question? I also just want to clarify where it says describe the street. That is not a limiter. You don't have to only focus on the road itself. It's used to give you some context so you understand sort of the bigger picture of what you're looking at. So you need to describe the scene as a whole, everything that you can see, not just a part of the picture, the whole thing. So if you're ready, I am going to start the timer. You have 60 seconds. Say as much as you can.
So that's 1 minute or a little around 1 minute, around 1 minute. How well did you do? Were you able to give a lot of details? Were you able to connect the ideas that you were able to offer? How did you stick to the topic? Did you stick to the image? Did you stick to the input that you were provided by the picture? So these are some of the questions that we would be attempting to answer in greater detail when we examine the three model responses of how um, other people would attempt. I would be reading um, the first one. Notice the level of detail that was given. Notice the vocabulary and grammar that was used. Did the details fit the image too? I will begin. I can see street with building. There is a car on the road. A man is riding bicycle. A woman is walking a dog. There are two, maybe three buildings. Some people are sitting on a chair and some are sitting at the table. There are two umbrellas. It is maybe a cafe or a restaurant. There is a tree. When you compare that with your own response, how similar are they? How different are they? When you take a look at the response itself, what can you say regarding the length of the sentences that were used? Would you describe them as short, long? Would you describe the idea as simple, complex? How would you talk about the connections or the relationships that were described between the items mentioned? Hmm. Yes, do do feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. We are doing this together so that we could think through it together as well. So that when you're on your own, you would be able to better assess your own performance. Maria Cristina Gabutin says simple sentences. I agree 100%. Seems pretty straightforward, pretty concise. Anything else? How would you describe classifieds? The vocabulary is used. Were they common words? Are they like maybe rarer words? Words that are not often used? Or words that you see all the time?
Philip, I would say, although the vocabulary is relevant to the task, everything mentioned in there we can see in the picture, but the
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary is very simple. The sentences, it's mostly simple sentences. There is a car. There are two, maybe three buildings. These are very short, simple sentences. And the vocabulary is not very descriptive. And remember,
Mm-hmm.
the tasks is to describe the street, not list everything you can see, but describe it. So, in my opinion, this response, although it does give us an idea of what's in the picture, it would be improved with more elaboration, more descriptive language, adding details, some prepositions. Where are the things that you can see? What are the people doing? What makes you think it's a cafe or a restaurant? What are the clues that you see? Um, so for task one, you don't need to come up with an elaborate story about the picture, but you do need to give a description and detail to fully answer the question. Should we move on to task two? Example two. We only have a few minutes left already. It's gone very quickly. So are you happy to move on, Philip?
Course. And I just like to agree with Anissa, Jeanette, Cecilia, and Marissa. You're definitely correct with your descriptions of this response. Emily, would you like to read the next model answer?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was just reading the chat comments. I agree as well. Yes, very common words. Okay, so here's model answer two. So again, these are just for illustrative purposes. On the real test, you speak your response. There's nothing written. You don't have to read anything. These are just so you can see how you can elaborate on your answer. So I can see a picture of a street with three buildings and a car parked on the road. A man is riding a bicycle. He looks like a professional, maybe. He is wearing cycling clothes. A woman is walking a small white dog and holding a handbag. She looks fashionable. Two people are sitting on a bench, man and a woman. They maybe know each other, maybe don't. The woman is talking on her phone, and there is a bag next to her. The man is maybe waiting for someone. Two people are sitting at a table outside a cafe. They are drinking something like coffee. So here is the second model answer. Please give us your comments in the chat. What do you think? How have they used or what can we say about the language, the vocabulary, and the grammar? And what can we say about the task completion, the level of detail, the quantity of language produced, and the relevance to the task? Um, Hopefully, you think this is a bit better than the first one, but we'd love to hear you say why you think it's better. What is good about this response? Philip, what do you think about this one?
It's definitely thicker. It definitely has lots more detail. And I could notice that the person, you can track where in the picture he's looking at. There is a clear sort of direction because he's talking about one part of the picture in detail before moving to another part of the picture, describing that in greater detail. So I appreciated that. And Sheila says it's much better compared to the previous one. I agree. And Burnham emphasized that the text was elaborated very well. Raquel said more details. Yeah, so more in this sense is better as long as the details that you're giving are relevant and related to the task.
That's true. I'd also like to note, we've
Hmm?
changed the color of some of these sentences. So you can see, with the first example, it was more of a list and bullet points. It was short, simple sentences that were unconnected to each other. Whereas in this one, like Philip mentioned, you can sort of follow the description around the picture, and the sentences are more detailed. They can be grouped together. So you can see each of the sentences, or I mean, not quite paragraphs, but each of the groups of sentences are much more connected and detailed in this one. It does complete the task. However, there's still room for improvement here. The vocabulary is still fairly simple. You've got words like professional, fashionable, but it could be more detailed, more sophisticated vocabulary, and demonstrating more advanced English skills. There's still room for improvement. So, thank you very much for all of your comments. You're right, it is much more detailed, makes sense. Specific details are emphasized and the text is elaborated well. Good. But let's take a look at the last one so you can see a really good example. Philip, would you do the honors of reading this last one?
Certainly, Emily. This is a picture of a street scene outside what looks like a restaurant or a cafe. It looks like a business because of the umbrellas, tables, and the sign outside. There are two customers sitting at one of the tables enjoying cups of coffee, which also suggests a cafe. To the left of the image is a beautiful tree with many leaves or flowers, which makes me think of summer or spring. Underneath that tree is a bench with two people sitting next to each other, but they do not look like they know each other. The woman is talking on a cell phone, and the man is holding a shopping bag, but possibly he is waiting for someone or something. A car is parked in the street. A fashionable looking woman in sunglasses is walking a small white dog, while a cyclist in sportswear is about to ride past her. Wow, whoever wrote this was really good at English. My goodness. Uh, but why do you think is that the case? What is different with this third model response compared to the last one that we talked about? Hmm, what's different? Or to be more specific, in what way is it better, do you think, compared to model answer number two?
I would just like to say, part of the all of the tasks in speaking for MET, you have your time limit, 60 seconds or 90 seconds, and you really need to take advantage. That's actually quite a long time. We sat while the timer ran down for 60 seconds, and it's quite a long time. So there's a lot of time for you to get lots and lots of language. The more you fill your time with good language, the more you're showing the examiners, the raters, what you can do, and you're showing off your skills. And this of the three models fills that time most effectively. It's packed with detail, lots of description. There's a lot more elaboration. It's more complex, Cecilia. Absolutely. Marissa, the description is more colorful. The writer is more skillful in storytelling. That's great feedback. Um, you're absolutely right. Colorful is a really nice way to describe it. Philip, how would you describe sophisticated vocabulary?
Sophisticated vocabulary, that would be words like sportswear. Like, who says that in real world? Like, not very many. And quite a lot more there. And I, oh, sorry, I can't see the screen, but the more specific vocabulary, more detailed vocabulary is definitely the way to go. And you would notice in the earlier slide, we were able to sort of group them into paragraphs, you know, because there were a lot more details that were given per part. And because I was speaking a little bit faster, as Emily mentioned, I was able to pack more detail pack more language into the 60 seconds that I had. And if we would look at the next slide, then perhaps we would see that indeed it's the same response, it's the same image, but you could say so much more about it. And more supporting details, you notice more evidence to support your observations. And as Anisha says, the model answer three is the best. Sentence and grammar is more complex and detailed, far more descriptive words. Even someone who is not seeing the actual picture will actually imagine the scene. And did you notice the markers on the left of the image in the center? So they are clear directions on where the listener is supposed to maybe look at the image. Jeanette says it's colorful, more. Hopefully, these three model answers help you to be more aware of what a good response sounds like and how you could improve your own response. And speaking of giving their own response, should we give them another go, another try?
Unfortunately, we're out of time. This is flown
Oh,
by. So I'm afraid we would love to give you another 60 seconds. However, if you want to practice this again yourself, hopefully these models have given you a good idea of how you can go from sort of a basic answer to a really good answer. These prompts are from the MET Speaking Overview video that we have on our YouTube channel, on the Language Assessment YouTube channel. And it's also listed on our preparation resource page. So please feel free to go and look at that video, and you can pause it while you see the image on the screen, and you can practice yourself describing it. Have a go and see where your answer can be improved. Um, for preparation, because we're already 2 minutes over, um, you can practice task one with any image, literally any image you find. Spend 60 seconds describing it in as much detail as you can. Remember to describe what you can see and what people are doing. Add details. Don't just list nouns that you can see. Think of extra information you can give. As Anisha said, like help the listener picture the scene. Don't just list things that you can see. So the more detail, the more descriptive you can be, the better. Use adjectives and verbs and adverbs and prepositions to add detail and interest to and color. I love a few of you have mentioned that the third description was colorful. So use these different types of language to or different types of vocabulary to improve the color. Um, and try to connect your details together so you're forming complex sentences and improving your cohesion and making a really interesting response. We've got a question whether New Zealand accepts the MET exam. Our full list of recognizing organizations can be found on our website. Let me get that up for you. The QR code. Where is it? Here we go. So please feel free to scan that code and check our list of recognizing organizations on our website. Um, Riley just posted the link to sign up for the rest of the series, webinars in this series. Philip, do you have any last minute words of advice as we need to wrap up?
Please sign up for the other webinars in the series and in the series, and we look forward to seeing you in the weeks to come so that we could work even more on the different aspects of the MP.
Yes, please do sign up. And I hope that we'll see you there. I hope this has been helpful and useful. Philip, thank you so much for your time. Riley, thank you for all your support with posting in the chat. And if you've got any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask us, please feel free to contact us. Our email address is info@michiganassessment.org. I'm just about to show it on the screen. For some reason, my computer has frozen. There we go. info@michiganassessment.org. And we also have training at nineronlinereview.com. So please get in touch with us if there's anything else you want to know. Sign up for our future webinars, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.